When you're standing in front of a sewing table with a stack of fabric scraps, a half-finished tote bag, and a vague idea that embroidery would make this look professional, it's easy to feel stuck. The biggest question is whether you're about to drop a decent chunk of cash on a machine that will sit idle, or on a tool that actually becomes part of your creative workflow. That's the angle I want to take today, a straight-up look at the Brother Entrepreneur 1 PR1X, so you can decide if it truly fits the kind of projects you have on your plate, or if you'd be better off looking elsewhere. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the PR1X is a single-needle embroidery-only machine, which means you're not getting a full-blown sewing capability bundled in. For people who are primarily interested in adding stitched logos, monograms, or decorative patterns to garments, home decor, or promotional items, that focus can actually be a plus. You won't have to wade through a maze of stitch settings you'll never use, and the control panel stays uncluttered. But if you still want to do basic sewing, say, a quick hem, or a buttonhole that's a deal-breaker, you'd have to keep a separate sewing machine on hand. The first thing you notice when you unbox the PR1X is the workspace. Brother has given it a fairly generous hoop area, which translates into the ability to work on medium-sized designs without constantly re-hooping. In practice, that means you can embroider a 6" by 6" logo on a shirt front, or a 5" patch on a denim jacket in one go, rather than splitting the design into smaller sections. I tried a sample project where I placed a 5" welcome script on a canvas tote. The extra room let me position the design exactly where I wanted, and the machine didn't need any mid-run adjustments. For hobbyists who like to tackle apparel or home textile pieces that aren't tiny, that workspace is a real time saver. Precision is where the Crosshair 2-point positioning laser comes into play. It projects 2 small laser points that line up with the center of your hoop, giving you a visual cue for where the stitch will start. In my experience, that laser is more helpful than a simple lead guide because you can see the exact entry point before you even lower the needle. When I was placing a small monogram on the cuff of a shirt, the laser helped me avoid a misalignment that would have otherwise required re-hooping and wasted fabric. The trade-off is that the laser isn't strong enough to cut through dark fabrics, so on heavily textured or very dark material you might need a separate marking method. Still, for the majority of cotton, linen, or light to medium blends, the laser does a solid job of improving first-try accuracy. One of the selling points Brother highlights is the built-in library of embroidery designs and funky fonts. There are around 70 designs preloaded, ranging from simple hearts to more intricate floral motifs, plus a selection of stylized text options. The practical advantage is that you can start creating right out of the box without having to download anything. I used a built-in vintage rose motif on a pillow cover, and the machine handled the density adjustments automatically, producing a clean, even fill. The downside is that the library, while decent for beginners, feels limited if you're looking for niche or highly detailed artwork. The machine does support USB imports, so you can load custom designs from a computer, but that adds a step. You need embroidery software that can output a Brother-compatible file, which can be a hurdle for absolute newcomers. Another aspect that often trips up buyers is the learning curve. Because the PR1X is single needle, thread changes are straightforward. You pull the new bobbin through the same path each time. However, you still need to manage hoop placement, tension, and design resizing. The on-screen LCD walks you through those steps, but it's not a touch screen. You navigate with a few buttons. I found the menu navigation intuitive after the first couple of projects, but if you're used to a fully touch-controlled interface, there's a slight adjustment period. That said, the simplicity keeps the machine from feeling overwhelming, which is exactly why many small business owners gravitate toward it. Now let's talk about who should actually consider buying this machine. If you run a small Etsy shop, a local boutique, or a promotional goods side hustle where your main product is embroidered patches, monograms, or brand logos, the PR1X hits the sweet spot. Its dedicated embroidery focus means you spend less time toggling between modes and more time producing consistent, repeatable results. The relatively compact footprint fits into a modest home studio, and the generous hoop area means you can handle a decent range of product sizes without needing a larger, pricier industrial machine. On the flip side, if you're a full-time sewer who occasionally dabbles in embroidery, you'll likely feel the pinch. You would still need a separate sewing machine for all your construction work, and you'd be adding another piece of equipment to your workshop. Also, if you're a hobbyist,